Happy Friday Eve day. I'm so excited to see you. This week has been amazing. I hope it's been amazing for you guys too. We've got Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter all right here on the laptop. We're not doing Instagram today because we're using StreamYard to welcome my amazing guest, Kamisha Brewer. Cannot wait for you guys to hear from her. So when you comment, be sure to tell us your name or go to StreamYard.com/Facebook or StreamYard.com/LinkedIn and give StreamYard permission to see your name so we can see your name in your comment because it makes it way more fun. So we have a treat for you. I am beside myself with excitement. If you cannot tell, Kamisha Brewer is in the house with me, and we are going to talk about how we can build these businesses without losing our minds. Okay. You guys, Tony Robbins and Amy Porterfield, two entrepreneurs that I follow closely. In fact, Amy Porterfield's one of my current coaches. They both say that success is determined 80% by your mindset and 20% by your skill set. Does that surprise you? Because it kind of surprises me. And every time I hear it, I'm like, okay, so you don't have to know everything. You don't have to have the big degree. You don't have to have all the skills, but you got to get your mental game sharp. So do not miss a word today because Kamisha is going to help us with the 80%. But first, you always know that I like to introduce myself to you. If you're new to me and I'm new to you, I'm Tracy Beavers. I am your business and sales coach, and my passion is helping you, the small business owner, solopreneur, salesperson, get rid of those parts of your business that are no longer working, get you past a plateau, and through working together on all aspects of your business, you will gain confidence knowing that everything you're doing every day, every week is going to grow your income. That's the most important thing, right? And so many of you have reached out. I've had some great information calls in the past 2 weeks talking about what coaching would look like for you. And I am ready to go and so excited to welcome some new clients. If you're here live, I want you to type live in the chat. So excited, Kamisha and I, to have you join us live. If you're catching us on replay, absolutely okay. Type replay in the chat and share a comment with us because it makes us so happy to see that you're there. And before we get started, would you do me a favor? I want to ask you a question. I'm doing some market research, and I'd love to know directly from you, what word do you use for yourself? Do you say entrepreneur? Do you say business owner? Do you say small business owner? What word do you use to actually describe yourself in business? And if you put that in the chat for us, that would be amazing because I think Kamisha probably needs to know that too as well. All right, so let's dive in, talk about how we can build these businesses without completely losing ourselves, feeling like we are slogging through mud, about to just lose our hair and lose our minds. So I'm going to introduce Kamisha. She's become one of my business besties these past few months. We've been supporting each other, cheering each other on, lifting each other up when needed. And if you don't have a business bestie, I suggest you get one because she has been such an inspiration for me. She is a therapist. She's a licensed therapist. She is a thought life coach, speaker, and author. Here's her new book. We're going to talk about that. She is passionate about helping people prioritize their mental health. Whether you've heard her speak at an event or talked with her during a session, any conversation with her is intriguing and thought-provoking. She always makes me go a little deeper with my thoughts. She has an extraordinary story transforming her life from being an orphaned teen living on public assistance to becoming a very successful entrepreneur with a thriving business. And she also has a nonprofit that she founded at a very young age, which is super impressive. And she's building this business to inspire other people. It is her mission to teach others that through God, all things are possible. And today, people across the country, because she's been on podcasts and I've heard her, they admire her mission of teaching people how to build a life that they love by shifting their thoughts into alignment with their goals. And you guys have heard me say before how important it is to have an authentic business, right? So she talks about this too. She's been a special guest on numerous podcasts, journals, magazines. She wrote a book. I mean, we're just lucky we got on her calendar, okay? So Kamisha, tell us about you. Tell us about your journey being a licensed therapist and now being an entrepreneur, and fill in the gaps on anything that I left out in the introduction.
Awesome. Tracy, thank you so much for having me. It's always a joy to hang out and be on your platform. I'm a fan, so I'm here every week anyway. But my journey has been amazing. Like, grew up in the South, down here in Arkansas. I'm a pastor's kid. So I got a chance to see my parents serve in ministry. And they did pastoral counseling at home. I didn't know there was a thing called pastoral counseling. I just saw there were members from the church that were in our kitchen and they were having conversations about life and business and entrepreneurship. So I thought it was totally normal, had no idea. And
Yeah.
so it really sparked, a new passion for me to learn more about mental health, to understand human behavior, because it was still ministry based. And I'm not sure they understood the mental health side. We don't have any therapists in the family. I'm a clinical therapist, and one of my sisters, she's a school counselor now. But like we don't have psychiatrists in the family. So mental health was like a new thing. And so I, studied psychology undergrad, and I studied ministry, like youth and family ministry. That was my thing, because I went to a Christian university, and I was like, well, if I got to take Bible classes, might as well get a minor in this thing too and just make it worth my time. So I knew I didn't want to stay in agency life as a therapist. Even after I finished school and got my license, I wanted to have a business. I wanted to be able to do therapy on my own terms. I didn't want to have all the state regulations about treatment plans and having to work with everybody. Because if you work hospital settings or outpatient clinical settings, then you see whoever comes through the door, if they're a good fit for you or if they're not, if you feel qualified to deal with their presenting issues or not. It does not matter. You have to see them. And I didn't want to live life in that way where I didn't have freedom. I didn't have flexibility. I had to ask for Christmases. Last year was my first holiday season where Christmas Day, I left corporate. Let me just throw that out. So up until then, I always had to work on a holiday. We didn't get the holidays off. We had to rotate, or you had to work half a day and see patients and be away from your family. And I was tired of that.
Yeah.
So it took a big
I don't
leap.
blame you. That, not getting the choice, not having the time freedom. I mean, that's the biggest reason that entrepreneurs say they start their own business, is just to have that freedom, not being told who, what, where, why, and the point you make is a really good one, that you wanted the choice of who you wanted to work with and who you wanted to serve, and not have to go through all that government red tape. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because it doesn't matter. They don't care how tired you are, especially, as the group therapist. If there were 50 patients in the group or 5, my pay was the same because I would salary, and we didn't get paid per person. And I was like, I don't like the business model, but it's corporate, right? They get to do what they want to do. And I was like, this isn't for me. So let me start an exit plan and work this thing so I can work myself out the door and do what I really want to do.
When did you start your exit plan? I'm curious.
Started my exit plan the day I got licensed, because I knew that it wasn't going to work for me long term, just because I could see people that had been there for, 10, 20 years doing the same thing, miserable, unhappy, overweight, hating their jobs, but, feeling like they had hit a dead end. And I was like, well, I'm in my 20s and I don't see life like that. So what can I do? And every position I started, I was very upfront with my clinical supervisors, like, hey, the goal is private practice, just so you guys know. I want to be upfront and be honest about that. I'm thankful for this position. I'm here to learn as much as I can, but I am not staying. And they were like, okay, we can work with that. I'm like, great, because you're going to have to, because I'm not staying. Like, my mind is made up. So day one, I had my eyes set on something bigger. So I wanted to learn the skill set, learn the process of onboarding, building a business, their intakes, the forms, the paperwork. I was looking at every single detail from the inside, so that whenever I got out on my own, I would be fine. And I was.
That is so impressive for you to recognize that at such a young age, because there are so many people like me. My generation was raised that you go to high school, you go to college, you get the W-2 job, and you stay there for 40 years, even if you're miserable. And so it took me a longer time to come to the realization that that wasn't the way I wanted my life to go. And so kudos to you for figuring it out at a young age. And that's one of the things I'm super excited about for my kids, because Emily's 22 and Jack's 18, and they're seeing my entrepreneurial friends and me kind of building our own businesses. Was it scary to give your notice and go out on your own?
Absolutely. And I did a half notice. So at first I went part-time because I was like, something happened at the company. I'll spare y'all the details about that. But something happened and I was like, okay, I'm either leaving all the way or I'm gonna go part-time.
Okay.
But I wasn't ready to leave all the way because I didn't have enough of my emergency fund that I wanted to have established. Because just because you're passionate and you have your eyes set on entrepreneurship doesn't mean you should just jump ship. Like, yes, God gives us faith, but he also gives us wisdom so we don't put ourselves in a bind because our bills, they don't care about our passions and ambitions. They don't care. They want their money.
They do. They
So
do.
it was scary. So I went half time, like I did part time for a few weeks to complete the rest of, my exit plan, get some things paid off, get more of a savings cushion, do more marketing in my business. And then I was able to transition smoothly and I never looked back. And I had used up my PTO. I mean, I used everything I had. I used up all my PTO. I didn't leave anything on the table for them to have to pay me later. I'm like, nah, I want all my days. And so Christmas Day, I'll never forget the lady from payroll. She's like, Kamisha, honey, your check's gonna be a little short if you don't work Christmas Day. I'm like, girl, it's fine.
I don't. Fine.
It's okay. I'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, I love that you admit that it is scary. Because you and I've talked a lot about how we feel building our businesses and also what our coaching clients are feeling building theirs. So that really comes into the next place that I wanted to talk about. And you guys hear me say this all the time. Being an entrepreneur can be scary. It can be lonely. It can be tough. And so from your therapist's perspective, share with us some tips and some strategies that we can implement today, right now, to help us keep going strong through this last quarter, because the holidays are coming and family events are coming, and we may be trying to also outline our vision for our businesses for 2022. And all of that, I'm hearing from people, and I'm feeling it a little bit myself. I'm feeling a little bit of the overwhelm, a little bit of the doubt. So how do we navigate that?
Yeah. I'll give you guys 3 tips real quick. First one is don't chase the money, right? We know Black Friday's coming, right? And everybody's like, you got to have your funnels and your email sequences set up and make sure you have an offer, make sure you have this, and this. Like, yes, those things are important, but what's also important is spending time with your family. And if you're mentally thinking about, well, how much money did I make in sales? How much money do I have for this? Or do I have this launch up and ready to go? And right after Christmas, what are we doing? You're going to miss out on the things that really matter. Even if that's, baking cookies or cupcakes or watching Christmas movies, going shopping, just to enjoy the Christmas music in the mall, whatever. Make sure you do those things and not just have your eyes on the money, because for me, in my experience, like the money was harder for me to make when that's all I was seeking after. But when I started seeking after the things that mattered, like my purpose, making a difference, having a heart of compassion, serving, meeting needs for people, and having fun, the money just came flowing in. I'm like, man, this is like crazy. Why didn't I do this sooner?
Right.
Don't chase the money. Second tip is don't rush through the day. Like, live life at a pace that you can sustain.
Yes.
I'm
so guilty of that. Sometimes I'll get halfway through the day and I'm like, what is happening? Like, I have got to just cool my jets.
Don't rush through the day. Pace yourself. Make sure you're taking a lunch. Make sure you're eating, and not the random peanut butter crackers that have been in your drawer for 2 months. Not that kind of lunch, but like a real lunch so you can have like food and nutrients. Make sure you're hydrated. Don't take every meeting just because people are calling and saying, hey, we want you to do this. Learn how to say no so that you can slow down. And I talk about that in the book. It's a whole chapter on like managing the rush life, because as women, we go and we can just go and go and go until our bodies are like, okay, you're going too much now. We need to slow down. And by that point, we're burnt out. So always do that, before you need to. So stop rushing through your day. Third point, take care of yourself first. That's it.
That's really hard, but that's what they say on the airplane, right?
It is.
Is to put your oxygen mask on first and then other people. But especially as women, we can't say no. And we want to do all the things. So that's where the rushing comes in. Girl, you are speaking my language. Keep going.
Yeah. And it's so hard. It's so hard. And when we think about, taking care of yourself, it's not just going to get a haircut or getting your toes painted. Like, that's cool. But deeper than that, just understanding that you are enough and you don't have to do all the things. One of the things I teach in my coaching program, the Thought Life membership, is phasing. Like, we're not working on all phases of your business at the very same time. Like, this phase, we're only focusing on you, your confidence, your mindset, your presentation, the way you speak, your fear of live videos. That's all we're focusing on in this phase. We're not worried about the branding shoot. We're not worried about the website. That's way down the road, because we need the woman to show up in her most authentic self for the branding shoot. And if you don't know who you are, the shoot's not going to work. You're just going to have photos in a cute outfit, and it's not going to connect with the people you're really trying to magnetically attract.
Right. They're putting the cart before the horse, and they're not doing those foundational pieces that will be so impactful when they finally get to those steps.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm guilty of that.
I am too.
Mm-hmm.
I am too, but thank God for coaching that got me out of that mindset. Like, okay, I really can slow down. Like, it's going to be there. There's nothing that I absolutely have to do right now. And I think because, social media, we see everyone else posting and doing live videos and getting features and being on podcasts. Like, it's not time for you to be on a podcast if you haven't built a business, because you're not going to have anything to say. You're not going to have any experiences and, trial and error moments that are going to be really inspirational for people.
Right.
Like, you're not going to have that if you're just starting out, and you're not supposed to be there yet. So don't beat yourself up about not being on a level that you're not even ready for.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a great point. You don't have anything to offer. And my question is, all that stuff is great, but I've talked about this before. My question is always, how does that translate into dollar bills?
Yep.
If being on podcasts and being on TV interviews and, being on Facebook Live and doing IG Reels and all that stuff, if that visibility translates into your income, that's great. But more and more, I'm finding that it doesn't. Some of it's good. Some of the exposure is great, and do some of it. But when we feel like we've got to be in all the places doing all the things, likes and all that stuff on Instagram, for example, that's okay, but that doesn't translate into money.
Mm-mm. Not at all. And that's something that's been mind-blowing to my coaching clients, because I don't have a lot of followers. I have people who follow me but didn't click the follow button. Like, I have those kind of people. So, like, just looking at the number of followers, like, you wouldn't think I have a thriving business, or you wouldn't think I have a super successful business if you judge my followers alone, which is not true. Just the outside appearance of success may not be what it actually is. And I'm grateful for that. But like you said, that pacing and the phasing and knowing what you're ready for and when. Even when I released the book, a lot of the podcast interviews that people were wanting to schedule me for, I moved them to September because I was still writing in June. In May, I'm still writing. So I'm like, I don't want to come on your platform right now, because if your people are interested in the book's not ready. They can't buy it, which means I'm going to miss sales. Right. So let me be strategic about my time. Let's push this back to the fall. And absolutely, I will come. Yeah. Because that makes sense for both of us, because I have something to offer.
Yes, it makes perfect sense. I love that. That's so great. And you had that awesome summit that you had me be a part of as well. And that was in September.
Yeah, right? It was the day before the book came out. So yeah.
I remember that now, because you're like, how many things am I trying to do in the next 48 hours?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move into another question that I know you cover a lot. And you and I both talked about this, and we touched on it in the beginning. We have both built our businesses alongside full-time jobs, family, church, all the commitments. You've also got a nonprofit. So we both have a lot going on, and you have a lot of clients that are doing this same thing, as do I. Can you talk to us? And I know you're going to be honest, because you always bring the truth bombs and you always give me real talk. What does it actually take? And we've talked about it just a little bit, but what does it actually take to build a successful business alongside a full-time job that will then give you what you're looking for?
Bottom line, it's decision making. Like, I know we talk about, being consistent and networking and collaborating, like all those things are just like sprinkles on top of what it is. But at some point, it's your decision making that is going to get you to where you want to go. So the decision of, I'm leaving my job on this day, therefore I need to do this, this, and this. All those things come underneath the decision, and your decision of, okay, this is going to be my coach. This is the investment. I don't have this money right now. I'm about to go get it. If that means I don't get my hair done, I don't get my nails done, I start wearing press-on nails, doing pedicures at home, I'm going to go get this money so that I can invest in this coach, because my goal is to leave my job by this date. So all of that is decision making. And when we make a decision and we commit to the decision, you can get to wherever it is you want to go. It's not just the graphics on Canva and the outfits and the podcast. Like, all of those things are just like side parts to what it is that we do. But when you make a decision, like, okay, this is my full-time job, I have to be here during these hours. Don't make that your conscious thought process. You have to go to work every day. But during your lunch break, what are you doing? Are you going to eat and relax for 30 minutes and then work on your business for the other 30 minutes? Or are you getting up early to work on your business and then you're going to work? And then after you get off work, you're working on your business again. All of those things are decisions.
Right.
And the way you set up your life and the way you structure it, that's your strategy that's going to help you exit so you can step into entrepreneurship life, which can be harder than working the full-time job. And I don't want to sugarcoat that. Like, oh, it's going to be all roses when I finally leave corporate. It's actually worse than corporate sometimes, because at least with corporate, you have a blanket. So if something goes wrong, your boss gets blamed, their boss, or you've got the cleanup crew with HR. You've got those people in place. You don't have that when you're on your own. So learn as much as you can and save as much money as you can while you're still at your job. And just from like a mindset standpoint, just understand that your job is only supposed to pay your bills. That's it. You may not find meaning and fulfillment and passion and purpose. You may not find any of that in your job, but it pays your bills and it provides for your family. So let that be what it is. And then your business and your hobby and everything else you're trying to pursue and create in terms of like wealth and legacy, let your side hustle and your business create that for you.
Love that. Gosh, that is so true. It's those decisions, those big decisions, and then those small decisions, like you're saying. Because I remember you saying that you sacrificed some things, getting your hair done, getting your nails done, all those things to save that money, to build up that foundation for that business. A friend of mine owns a doggy daycare here in town, and she had that dream for years. And she saved and she saved and she saved, and she built her business with cash, but it took her a while. And I think sometimes I'm guilty of being impatient.
Oh yeah.
We get impatient. And the other thing is that we think it looks easy. We think it's going to be easy. It's not. When you go get a W-2 job, you get the name tag, you get the business cards, you get the desk, you get the phone, you get the job description, you get the benchmarks for success, you get your raises periodically, you get to show up, and then you get to leave. And then you know what I mean? And you get paid time off. And if you get sick, you still get paid. And when you're an entrepreneur, there's nothing.
No.
Like,
all gone.
That's why it's so hard. It's like, wait, where's my job description? Where's my roadmap? What do you mean? I've got to make it all up myself? That was an eye-opening for me as well.
Oh yeah.
So one last question I would love to ask you, and I get this one a lot, so I'm sure that you do also. Why would a business owner need a coach? Why hire one? What's the big deal? And do you have a coach that you're currently working with? Because I do.
Oh yeah. You need a coach because you don't know where you're going and you don't know how to get there. Like, your coach is literally like your GPS that can take you to a destination you haven't seen before. Now, you're going to need different coaches at different times and different seasons. So like, if you're just starting out, you may not need the high ticket offer coach, or you may not need like the marketing coach when you're trying to figure out what type of business you want to have. So like you need like an early foundational development kind of coach. But just understand you may not have one coach for the rest of like your business journey. You're always going to need coaching and mentorship. And sometimes it'll be group coaching, sometimes it'll be private coaching, but it's literally so that they can be your guide and your roadmap to help you accomplish the goals you have created for your own life, not so you can become them or become their little minion or clone, but it's for you to fully step into your power. Yes, I have a coach. Stephanie Ferrara has been my coach, and she has been amazing. We just wrapped up our contract. I was devastated. I was like grieving, and she was like, "You can still Vox me." I was like, "Okay, thank God," because I wasn't ready. Like the next week, I was like, "Oh, I've got questions. I'm in business by myself again. I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I just had a moment."
Right. I know. I feel that way too.
For this level, though. So for the next level, yes, it's time to invest again. I'm on a fourth quarter mini sabbatical, so I can't do any launches or hire new coaches or start new programs right now because I structure my year like that. I'm all in first 3 quarters, but October, it is slow mode. It is so slow. But top of the year, yes, I will be ready for a new coach and be ready to work again.
I love what you said about the coaches, the GPS. And there are different coaches for different phases, because I'm finding that to be true as well. And there are early foundational coaches that can help you figure out what are your gifts and your talents, what is your passion, what is authentic to you. And so when you have those moments of doubt, you can reach out on Voxer or Messenger or something and say, "Hey, I've got this idea. Does this sound great, or does this sound like it's going to stink?" You know what I mean? And you've got somebody that's going to be super objective with you to help you get through those times. So that's what my coach does for me, and I love it. I love it. All right. So through everything that we covered, you guys, one thing is super apparent to me. We need to be planning. We need to be making good decisions, and we need to be monitoring our thoughts, how we talk to ourselves. Are we rushing through the day? Are we making decisions based on likes and followers and things that make us feel good in the moment, those vanity numbers? Or are we really making decisions based on things that will actually move the needle income? So I want to show Kamisha's book, Thought Life Confessions, and she's going to tell us here in a second where you can get your copy. You guys, this is really, really good stuff. Absolutely love it. I'm so proud of you for writing a book. That is on my list. I think I'll get it done in 2022. Okay. But tell everybody how they can find you. What resources do you offer? How can they connect with you, and where can they get that awesome book?
Absolutely. So the easiest place to find me is on Facebook and Instagram. It's at Kamisha Brewer. I hang out mostly on Instagram, but I do come to Facebook every now and then for my Facebook people. The book is available at thoughtlifeconfessions.com. It is definitely a resource for the anxious, successful women who are trying to build this amazing life that they love, but they're struggling with those mindset blocks that have been holding them back for years, like confidence, trying to figure out where your purpose is. How do you manage your time? Can you do this? Dealing with all the negative self-talk about, I don't know if I'm smart enough. I don't know if I make enough money. Does my hair look cute enough to do a live video? It does, just so y'all know. But in the book,
you only have to fix it from forward. You only have to fix this.
All that matters. The back, nobody cares. Nobody cares. But in the book, I've jam-packed it with resources for like journals and checklists and prompts and guides for meditation and breathing. So it is a do-it-yourself for now kind of resource, but eventually you are still going to need coaching, if that's, with Tracy or with me in the Thought Life Membership Program, to really dig deep and get you through those mindset blocks so you can make good decisions and go be successful.
Yeah. So exciting. Mine is on my coffee table so I can look at it and remind myself of the things that I need to be doing. You guys, this was so needed for me, and I know that it was needed for you too. Kamisha, thank you so much. We're going to check the comments here in just a second. If you have a question for her or for me, put it in the comments on StreamYard, or send us a direct message, a PM or DMS, doesn't matter. Just reach out. If you need help navigating something, she is an excellent resource to help you get that done. And I think we might have been frozen in the group, but what I will do is download the video and I'll repost it in our group so everybody can see it. You guys, I hope today was impactful for you because it was for me. And as always, I want to know what you think. What do you want to learn? What do you want to hear more of? It is my goal to bring you value and be of service to you. And if you're loving this content, save it in your favorites, create your own library of awesome videos. And I say this every week, don't go it alone. Being an entrepreneur is hard. I mean, we've talked about that today. Some days everybody wants to buy what you're selling, and other days there are days where I feel like I'm like, my phone has not stopped. My phone doesn't stop ringing, or my phone has stopped ringing. And it's like, that can play tricks on your mind. So being an entrepreneur can be hard and can be lonely. If you think you're alone in it, you're not, because Kamisha and I just talked about it. You're not. And if you're catching this on my business page, on LinkedIn, or over on YouTube, join us in our collaborative, supportive community, the Facebook group called Be a Confident Entrepreneur. I want you to jump in. I want you to make yourself at home. Introduce us to what you do, and let us know how we can be of service to you. And here's what I want you to do right now. After we end this broadcast, I want you to go to tracybeavers.com/referral machine and grab my free guide that will tell you how to gain new clients every week with ease. I give several free and low-cost ways that you can implement these starting today. That's tracybeavers.com/referral machine. All right, let's check the comments. Kamisha, I just want to thank you again. I adore you. You inspire me, and I love that you are a blessing to so many women. Our mental health cannot be ignored any longer. It cannot be silent. We can't be silent about it any longer. I think that's gone on for too many generations where people just aren't comfortable talking about it. And I'm really proud to see that more and more people are being open about it, especially people that are in celebrity or, in the media a lot. And they're making it the conversation okay to have, which I think is great. And I know how important your work is and how much you love it. So thank you so, so much.
Absolutely.
Let me see in StreamYard. Whitney's here. Awesome. Connie. Hey, Connie said she thought we might be frozen in the Facebook group. Hopefully that didn't happen. And Connie says she stopped chasing carrots. Yes. Awesome. Love that, Connie. That's awesome. And Stephanie says, you're a rock star, Kamisha. It has been an honor to walk with you on this journey.
Thanks, Coach.
And Stephanie Ferrara is going to be one of our guests here in November. So that'll be awesome. I'm really excited. Kamisha, anything else you want to add?
No, I just really appreciate the opportunity to come hang out and be on the screen with you. I'm always here on Thursdays and Fridays. I'm like, I can't wait to watch Tracy's training. I'm so excited. Yeah, super honored to be in this space. And I pray that, the things that we've shared today have been beneficial for your audience, those that are watching live and those that will watch the replay later.
Thanks. Tell us the name of your Facebook group too, because are you still doing your Mondays at noon?
Yeah, Mondays at 12:30, Thought Life Live, and we cover all things mindset, negative thoughts, entrepreneurship, hard talk kind of stuff. So the Facebook group is the Thought Life Tribe, and y'all can come hang out with us over there. I'm live every Monday at 12:30 Central Time.
Awesome. Love it. All right, my friends. Have a great rest of the day. Have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Talk to you soon.